we're running out of time. The natural resource world, what the corporations have done has led us to, and as I look at the program you got structured out, it tells a story of who we are and what happened to us, and we're coming back stronger today. Our kids are all here making these videos and telling the story on the technology that we have. It's very important that we do that. And the Nisqually River is an example of bringing the life back, the spirit back to our river. And with all the management plan of the Nisqually tribe, and not only our Nisqually tribe, but all of our tribes that get in and help to fund this project on the Nisqually River, taking the dikes down, getting the river to breathe again. The rivers have to breathe. People's got to stand away from them. And we have people problem. The runoff into the rivers, the poison of the dead zones, and it all comes down. It all works from the top to the bottom, to the Puget Sound, to the ocean. And we have to work on that problem to make it better for the future of our children. These are all our children in here, all of our relatives in here, all around us. And it's their future that we talk about every day. We talk about our grandpas and our grandmas, and our aunts and uncles and dad and moms, and all of us that bring the future back to our children, and bring hope back. Bring the hope back to our children, and that there is hope out there. We've done a lot of things in the past. We've marched with Martin Luther King back in Washington D.C. Our Nisqually people, and all of our coalition people, and we had hope with President John F. Kennedy being President of the United States. That was hope for us Indian people. We met with him, the Kennedy family, and they've been always on the tribal Indian side of the culture and the way of life. And he got killed in 1964 and assassinated, and that hope kind of went out the door for us Indian people. But we still stayed on course. We're on course. Who we are. We're the tribes. We're here. We're here to stay. And so we kept moving forward. We met with Bobby Kennedy in Portland, Oregon, and sit down with him on our future agenda. Now that his brother's gone, he was running for president, and he got killed in Los Angeles, assassinated again. Another hope went out the door. Then, of course, Martin Luther King got killed, and we were there marching with him for our treaty rights and our culture and our way of life. We were making that very important march, and different marches with the treaties of the United States, and trying to make the United States take our case here in the state of Washington for our Indian people here in the Northwest, and protect our salmon, protect all of our natural world around us, and all of our medicine. We're harvesters and we're gatherers, and we can't never forget that, who we are, and never forget who we are as Indian people, and what our goals are and what our objectives are out there in the world that we live in. And so we took over the BIA building in Washington D.C. And you know, that these are stories that happened in the 60s for us. You know, termination came in 1954 for our tribes throughout the land.
Termination?
And they started back east with the Menominee tribe, and then they came to the Klamath Falls, Oregon, and then they come over here to Colville. And we took them on. We as Indian people took them on. Said, you're not going to terminate us tribes. You know, we're going to fight you every step of the way. And we turned that around. You know, that was another big fight and a big time-consuming thing for all of us. But we have a lot of time. We're Indian people, and we have a lot of time. We have a lot of frustration, but that don't stop us from going where we have to go. And we have to tell our story, and our young people has got to tell the story now. And they're telling it today in the modern technology way of doing it. And I'm proud of them. But as we took that journey in the 60s, we came to San Francisco, and we took over that little island out there. And Alcatraz Island, and you know, all of our coalition, we were all together, and we done that. And we took over the Daybreak Star up at Fort Lawton, and we took that over. I mean, these are things that happen right live. You know, we exonerated our chief Leschi. You know, we brought the state Supreme Court, and we held all of that in Tacoma, Washington, and exonerated our great leader of the Nisqually people, and all of our people. And all of this is a story that we tell continually. You'll hear it today, and you hear it tomorrow, and you'll hear it over and over. It'll never end, the story. The fight never ends for us. We keep telling our story and keep marching forward. And the story is who we are, our culture, our children. Looking out the window right now and seeing our children playing in this sunshine, this beautiful day we have today. We went to Wounded Knee. You know, we stood at Wounded Knee with all of our people in the Dakotas, and you know, we negotiated our way out of that. We negotiated our way out of the BIA takeover building. We negotiated our way out of Alcatraz. We negotiated our way out of Fort Lawton in Seattle, Washington. We did all these things, but we did them for the people of our people, of who we are. And we got legislation through President Nixon. He gave our mountain back, Mount Adams, to the Yakima tribe. These are big things that happen within our time. And I'll be 80 years old this coming March 9th of this coming year. And
80 years young.
Yeah. That's our life is committed to our children and who we are. I mean, you know, my son Willie and Shiv was saying, you know, somebody's got to do this. You know, you've got to commit a life to protect us, who we are, Indian people. You protect our treaty rights, you protect our fisheries, you protect our water, our clean water, and all of it, quantity and quality and everything. You look after all of us. And so that's kind of what I do. And it's time consuming. We have a lot of time.
We have a lot of time.
We have a lot of time. And don't get frustrated about it. Have a lot of patience. As an Indian, you don't. Nothing happens overnight. You know, the ship is so far off course in our country. You know, we got to bring it back on course. it's a slow process. There's a big picture out there of all the poisons there, the dead zones in the ocean now, the dead zones in Puget Sound and Skokomish and Hood Canal. Skokomish tribe, our own tribe. You know, and South Puget Sound is down. You know, from the Narrows Bridge south. You know, that takes in Squaxin Island, the Squally tribe, and Puyallup. So these are things we're working on every day. We're working to bring the natural world back and the clean water and people live in place. But our culture is so important to all of us. You know, what you're doing today is important.
What was that?
What you're doing today is important. What we're all about, telling the story of who we are. And, you know, it's going to make a difference. You know, it's going to make a difference to all of us. We put these educational pieces together with our children. Let them have a say in it. They got to have a say. They got to, you know, we're still here. We're still going.
We're still going.
And we got nothing but time.
Nothing but time. I love it.
So, you know, we're
it's a heavy burden for my people to live.
I think the Indian tribes, the Indian people, and their governments are committed to protecting our culture, our way of life, and protecting all of our natural resources.
You think who is?
Our knowledge tells the story. Our Indian knowledge, our storytelling, you know, who we are, how we think about those trees, how we think about the air, how we think about the water, how we think about our salmon when they come home. We have ceremonies about the first fish coming back home. You know, we have the canoe journey. We have these things that are around us that make us strong. And our children are all part of that. You know, and it just makes you feel good that we're here and doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? No security?
Talking water.
Well, you know, everything, life is what water's all about. You know, we don't have water. You know, we've got to the point where the children that are growing up going to school, there's nothing wrote about us Indian people in our history of school. The white man has wrote whatever they wrote, misinformation, all of that. The children out there, the white community and the people that moved here from Europe and Asia and everywhere, they believe that the water comes from the 7-Eleven in a little bottle they can go and buy. You know, they don't know it's down there. It's in the ground, it's in the earth, and it generates clean water. We got to have that generation working 24 hours a day, all the time. You know, they got to understand that, and they got to protect that. You know, we need more kids that understand what you're talking about right here. You know, more of the community out there, the kids that live in the cities, the urban people, all of our people. You know, we got to include all of them people now. We got to include them to take part in what we're all about, our culture and our way of life, and protecting our water. Our water is the most important thing that there is in our lives. You know, clean water. You know, our springs that come out of the Squally River up here, we know when they come out. We know when they generate. You know, they're there right now, you know, coming out of the ground, filling our streams up with water so our salmon will come home and spawn. You know, we know all these things, you know. and we've got to keep that all in our view of how we talk every day. You know, that we have to protect that water and protect them springs and protect our river and let that river breathe, you know, and get healthy. We've had that river choked. It's choked up by people, by the cities, and by the city of Tacoma, the city of Seattle. They've choked our watersheds. We don't want no watershed to be left alone. We want to fix every one of our watersheds. We want them watersheds brought back. We're not going to give up on any watershed, no matter where it's at. You know, we're here to protect them, and that's our story, and we're sticking with that. Oh yeah, you can hear. You go up to our falls, you know, Snoqualmie Falls. You stand there and listen to the water. You'll hear it. You can hear our drums. You can hear our language. You can hear, you know, if you take everything in your head and put it out and listen to these trees talking, you know, listen to the wind, you know, what they're all saying to you. You'll be talking like I'm talking. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's the real, you live in this world we live in. It isn't a fantasy world or anything. It's a real world of listening to our streams that are coming down, living with the water. I've lived on the Squally River all my life. You know, and I live on that water. I just got off in the water yet last night, and you know, the water it purifies, and it's a relaxing place to be. And you know, our kids swim in the river. You know, geez, that's wonderful. You know, we want that water to be clean so our kids can swim there. You know, we want them to be able to drink out of that stream if they need a drink of water. You know, some of our rivers you can't do that now, but some of them have to be cleaned and cleansed, you know, and we're working on that stuff. But it's a long journey that we're on, and I think, you know, people have to know what our knowledge is all about, our Indian knowledge and our way of life. I think they're asking us to come to Washington, D.C. and tell our knowledge, what it's all about. The science people are trying to mix us into their science, you know. So there's a lot of good things happening out there.
Speaking of good.
Well, you know, when you grow up, you know, like I've grown up. I went to jail when I was 14 years old, and the love of the way you're brought up. Now, not all of us can be brought up like that. You know, we got dysfunctional families, and the United States government made us this way. You know, it isn't, they've taken our families and broke them up. They've taken our communities and broke them up. You know, now we're coming back. And them children, you know, they're going to have the next generation. They got to start bringing them up like I was say how I was brought up, with my dad teaching me how to fish, and the love of that river, the love of the way we lived. You know, the dad lived to be 104, mom lived to be 96, and lived with us all their lives. You know, we never thought of anything different than, you know, that they lived in their house, you know, and that was our community down at Frank's Landing. You know, and our sisters and brothers and a lot of them are all gone now. The people that fought on this river are all gone, you know. And but we're all still here, and we're all educating each other about how the love of that land and that property and how the love of our communities are, our reservations, you know. What we think of our communities and our reservations, you know, and we were put here by them, the United States government, you know. And we were put here with a treaty to protect our culture and our way of life. And they haven't done that. Now we're making our point. They have to protect us. And that's going to Washington and doing whatever we have to do to make that. And you gotta love you gotta love the respect of your grandmas and your grandpas, and you gotta respect our people, our Indian people, whoever they are. Our children are the most precious thing on the earth. The most precious thing that's walking this earth. That's our children. The babies that are born and not even born yet. Them are the ones that's the ones we're talking about. You know, that's the love of our children, the love of our people, the love of who we are. And, you know, that love never stops. We've got to ingrain that in our children and our kids to protect and respect one another.
Peace.
So, I hate to cut this little interview short, but I know you have a very important schedule, Mr. Frank, and so we got to get you on your way.
Okay.
Here, just give it to us.
There
Peace.
you go, yeah,
That's going on Facebook. It's going on your Facebook page.
That's going to work.
No, he's just going to answer peace. He's just going to tell us, you know, 1 minute about peace.
Okay. I could never get 1 minute. I could never get him to do 1 minute. So.
Yeah. Well, we, you know, we have to have peace in among us, among our people. We can't be fighting one another. You know, over the last fish or the last clam or the last gooey duck or the last halibut or whatever we're managing. You know, we have to sit down and work these things out. You know, but peace in the world, we have to bring peace in the world. I mean, you know, the government has let the corporations destroy us, destroy who we are. You know, Levi Strauss, you know who he is. He makes these pants. He's over in China making pants. And that's all money. Because you don't have to pay for the union, you don't have to pay for the health of us or anything, you know. So he's left us. You know, the corporation took them all away. So what do we have here in the United States? We have nothing. They've destroyed our resource. You know, they've destroyed, and they're destroying our people right now. There's no jobs. You know, what the hell are they going to do? You know, they all left. The big money people, and they're still greedy. Their greed is driving them. And the rich people are still want to control everything. And they don't know we're coming to an end. You know, and the end is we got to get straightened out before that end comes. And that's talking about bringing us back. You can come back. You know, they can all come back. They can come back home and put their money where it counts, not being greedy and take and take and take. Corporations moved away. The timber people, they moved away with their nurseries that they're growing trees. They got to come back. They got to come back home. This is our home. This is your home. You know, come back and start growing trees, planting trees, putting everything back into the earth, like you've taken it out. That's what we got to do.
So peace comes back to the earth.
The what?
So peace,
Yeah.
to have peace, it comes back to the earth.
Yeah.
The earth has to be right before we can have it.
We gotta, it's gotta come back to our Mother Earth is crying for help. She cries every day. You know, we hear these, she's telling us there's storms going on, there's floods going on, there's things that's happening. She tells us every day messages to us. You're doing something wrong. You got to start coming back home and doing things right. Well, see, the corporations have a lot of straw men, straw women,
That's right.
and they don't know what we're talking about. They don't know, they don't have the love of the natural world out here. You know, they're in a jungle, a jungle that they live in. This is the jungle. And, you know, I buy water, I buy bottles, and this is my jungle. They don't know that this big world that we live in is important to us. So they have straw people. You can call them anything you want, you know, but they're not educated and they're not helping them. You know, they keep them in that little world so they can control them. You know, they can't control the Indian people. That's where the treaties of the United States and the Indian tribes that don't have treaties, we are here and we're making our point. And we're not straw people. We're Indian people, you know, and we make a difference. All of our children and all of us. And when people call you a straw person,
Like 5 minutes.
you know, a straw person is, they control the straw person. We're still out there on the front line, you know, making it better every day. We got to do that. We got to just keep on course. The tribes are on course, you know. Just keep going straight ahead. You know, every now and then turn and look and see how far they're behind us.
Yeah.